Welcome back to the series all about EKIDEN with Sweat Elite and Tempo Japan. This is episode 3. We're about 5.5 weeks out now from EKIDEN, and throughout this series we're going to check in with some of Japan's best distance runners that might not necessarily be running this year's EKIDEN, but we're going to ask them all about EKIDEN and obviously their own training and racing. In this episode, we were very lucky to join Yuki Kawauchi for an easy run and a Q&A, talking all about his training and racing. For those that are not familiar, Yuki is an absolute legend here in Japan, and he's a legend globally. He's won the Boston Marathon before, he has run 2:07 for the marathon, and he's super famous for how he races. He races almost every weekend. He's run over 250 marathons, and around 120 of them, I believe, in under 2:20. And he is just a superstar and just a great all-round character. So I hope that you enjoy this episode of a conversation with one of Japan's best distance runners at the moment, Yuki Kawauchi. This series of videos leading up to the EKIDEN taking place in Japan in January is only made possible via the support of 3 of our brand partners. The first one being Soar Running, one of the fastest growing running apparel brands in the world and one of my favorite running apparel brands out there. You can learn more about Soar at the end of this video. The second brand sponsor is Garmin, one of the leading GPS watchmakers in the world that I've been using since I started running over 18 years ago now. You can learn more about Garmin's products at the end of this video. And the third one is HVMN with their revolutionary new supplement Ketone IQ that I've been using every day now for almost a year, and I highly recommend it for reasons that you'll find out at the end of this video. Thanks for coming, Yuki.
Oh, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, you're like a hero in the world of running. You run so many races. It's crazy.
Yeah, thank you.
And soon you have a marathon in 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Hofu?
Yes.
Yes. And so we are joining him in an easy run today. And this is one of your favorite parks to run?
Yes.
This is one of your
yes.
common places to run?
Yeah.
And you live not so far from here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we'll ask some questions in the run, but how far are we running today?
1 hour 30 minutes. Yeah.
1 hour 30.
Yeah.
Okay. And the pace?
Pace is 5 per kilometer. Yeah.
5, yes. I have read that you do much of your easy running at about this 5 minutes per kilometer. This is normal for you?
Okay, normal. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Let's get started. Cool.
Thank you.
1 hour and 30 minutes.
Yes.
5 minutes per kilometer.
Yeah.
We will be maybe 16 kilometers.
Yeah.
16, 17.
Yeah, 17. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And what has your training been like this week? What have you done in preparation for this marathon? In like the last couple of days, have you done any big training sessions?
Sorry. 日本語で。いいですか。昨日8000メートルプラス2000メートルという練習をやりまして、トータルで30分で走りました。で、あとこの日曜日に上尾でハーフマラソンを走ります。そのハーフマラソンは大学生がたくさん走るので、すごく最終の刺激としていいレースになると思います。
What is your goal this weekend in the half marathon? So for those watching that don't know, Agio Half Marathon this weekend is known to be probably the deepest half marathon in the world in terms of, so last year, I think it was last year, 66:15, this way? Yes. 66:15, place like 210th or something like that, or 220th, or I worked out that my best of 106.44 is like 250th. So I'm racing, Yuki's racing. What is your goal for the Agio Half? Do you have a goal for the race?
アギオの目的、タイム的には
タイム的にはそうですね、1時間2分台3分切りのところをやっていきたいかなと思っています。
And how do you feel about your marathon grand final? Is that what it's called here? Yeah, the grand final. He was 4th. It would be good to learn a little bit more about his thoughts and feelings about this race and what it means for him about selection for the Olympics.
そうですね、大会が日本で何番目かというのを決める大会でしたので、その大会で4番だったということは、今現在日本で4番目に強いということなので、そうしたことを証明する意味はあったのかなというふうに思います。
Yeah. How long is this track?
Yeah.
This Tartan track? How long?
800 meters.
Wow, okay.
Yes.
Perfect. And sometimes you do your intervals on here?
No, interval is
Track.
track, yes.
Oh, there's a track right there. It's like
400
a proper 400-meter track.
400, yes.
I didn't even notice that. There you go. It's a good place to train.
Yeah.
So how many times now under 220 for you?
何回サブ時間
117.
117.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. I need him to give me a tip. How do you do it once?
まあそうですね、やっぱり、まずは怪我をしないことですよね。やっぱ怪我をすると練習が継続できないので、怪我をしないのが一番。あとはやっぱりロングランをしっかりと入れる。別にペースは速くなくていいので、時々しっかりとロングランを入れるのが大事だと思います。
Do long runs.
Yeah.
Now, am I correct in saying sometimes you do 50-kilometer long runs?
Yeah. Yes.
How often?
大体そうですね。まあ1ヶ月に1回ぐらいは50キロ以上のジョギングをやってますね。はい。
Once a month.
Once a month. And why does he do this?
どうして
やはりそういう長い時間を走っているとフルマラソンがもう短く感じますね。
And so I want to understand, if it's possible, he probably gets asked this a bit, but Yuki is known to race like most weekends, or at least like every second weekend. So what is does he have a North Star goal to try and achieve, or is it just about enjoying every race, every step? Like, is he heading towards something in particular, or is it just a fun experience to race as much as possible? Or what's his motivation, basically?
そうですね、可能性を知りたいっていうところですね。自分が何回2時間20分を切れるかっていうのもありますし、あとは優勝したいとか記録を出したいとか、あとは旅が好きなので、単純に大会に出ると旅行ができるので旅行がしたいっていうような思いがしてますね。
Okay, so I want to talk to him more about, ask some more questions about traveling. I'm going to start with Boston when he won in 2018 and ask, so Yuki won 2018 Boston Marathon, terrible weather that day and many of the elites dropped out. Yuki made the most of the opportunity and basically ran from the gun to the finish in front. Did he really believe through most of that race, or at what point in the race did he really think he was going to win? Or was it like the last kilometer he was like, I'm going to win this, wow? Or like, talk to me more about how the thought process went during the Boston Marathon 2018.
最後まで勝てるっていうような思いはゴールのテープを切る瞬間あんまりなかったですね。本当に自分が途中2番を走っているのは分かっていましたけれど、桐生選手がもうビュッと前行きましたので、本当にフェンウェイパークの横で抜かしたか抜かしないか分かんないぐらい、すごく集中しました。
Yeah, he raced.
Yeah, I could see. I could tell in the first few kilometers when he just dropped everybody straight away. So on the topic of travel, which other races and countries does he really want to go to?
そうですね、海外ですとパリオリンピックには多分かなり難しい状況ですけど、パリマラソンを走ってみたいと思ってますね。
He wants to run Paris Marathon.
Paris.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know Gold Coast Marathon you've run?
Yes, Gold Coast.
Yes. That is my home.
Oh,
That's my hometown, yes.
good. ね、もうゴールドコース大好きです。I love Gold Coast.
I remember one year, maybe it was last year or year before, he had a sore foot, I think, and he instead of pulling out of the race, he just walked and finished. Because apparently he hates dropping out. Is that true?
はい、嫌いですし、私はもう今までフルマラソンで棄権したことが0回なので、やっぱりゴールドコーストで5キロで足を痛めても、その0回を絶対にやめたくないっていうのはそういう思いがありました。
Yeah, so he.
いやでも歩いたり止まったりしながら途中から走れるようになったので、最後の方は走っていましたし、もうずっとそうした意味では別に歩いてるばっかりなかったです。
Yeah.
So I want to ask Yuki about recovery, because when I put an Instagram story up yesterday, about 800 people asked me how he no, not that many, but a lot of people asked me how he recovers between races. Does he have any secrets? Or is it just sleep, nutrition, what does he focus on to make sure he recovers well to bounce back for the next race?
やっぱり一番は交代浴という冷たい水、温泉、冷たい水、サウナ、冷たい水、温泉っていうのを1時間ぐらいっていうのをレース当日の夜、あと次の日、場合によっては次の日まで必ずやる。やはりしっかり食べる。マラソンを走ると胃がやられて食べれない人もいますけれど、私の場合にはしっかり食べれるので、マラソンが終わったら何でも好きなものを食べる。そこも大事かなと思います。
Yes.
So basically, just he uses that as like. Does he worry too much or think about his diet much outside of the binge post marathon?
普段は別に体重が増えなければそんなに気をつけないです。何を食べても別に体重が増えなければいいのかなと思ってます。
So I have some more questions for you.
Yeah.
What in 2020
Yes.
you turned professional,
Yes.
and what has been the biggest difference in your training and life between before then and after turning pro and signing with Essex? Has it been much easier to train? Do you think it's something you'll continue to do? It'll be good to learn any more about the change.
最初の1年は間違った方向に進んで、とにかく時間ができたので練習をたくさんして1ヶ月に1000キロ以上走ったらスピードがなくなりました。で、ドーハの世界陸上で惨敗したので元の練習スタイルに戻したら調子が上がってきて、で3つ大きな変化がありました。1つが靴の変化、厚底カーボンシューズを履くようになりました。アシックスがメタスピードを開発したからです。で2つ目が、引っ越してこの和光市に引っ越したので、実業団チームが練習しているものに混ぜてもらうようになりまして、で駅伝を狙う実業団チームと練習をしているうちにスピードが回復してきて、逆により良いスピードがつくようになりました。なので今も1週間に1回ぐらいはその実業団の練習に加わっていて、昨日の練習もその実業団の練習に加わってやった練習です。最後のもう一つが治療の時間が増えたことです。マッサージや先ほどの仕事があるときにはなかなかできませんでしたが、今は1週間に少なくとも2回はそういうマッサージや温泉交代浴ができています。
Okay.
リカバリーの時間が伸びたことは間違いなく私の寿命を伸ばしたと思います。
What was he doing for work before he turned pro?
高校の事務職員、アドミニスターをやっていました。具体的には電話に出たり、あとはいろんなものを購入したり、あとは生徒の情報を管理したり、いろんなことをやっていました。
And does he think he'll go back to doing that work after he finishes his career? Although I do know he wants to run through into his 50s. Is that true?
今すごくその学校の事務の仕事の代わりに日本のいろんなところで小学校や中学校などで講演をしたり、ランニングの交流をしたり、すごく違った仕事も増えているので、そうした意味ではこういう今の新しい仕事にすごくプロとして、私はフルマラソンを81歳までは絶対走りたい。理由としてはボストンマラソンチャンピオンは50年後に招待される。私は31歳で優勝したので81歳で必ず招待されるからです。
And Yuki, are you excited to watch EKIDEN 2024?
Yes, maybe, yeah. 日本でそうですね、はい。間違いなく駅伝の結果は追うと思いますし、それがX になるのかウェブサイトになるのかわからないですけれど、はい、やはり駅伝の結果は必ず確認しますし、どこのチームが走っているかってことはコーポレート駅伝の方も、はい、箱根駅伝の方もどちらも、はい、チェックしています。
So what does Yuki do when he's not training? Because correct me if I'm wrong, and please do correct me, Yuki, if I think you train once a day. But if you train more than that, let us know. And what do you do outside of training and recovery?
はい、私は基本的に1日1回の練習です。もちろん合宿に行った時には2回練習する時もありますけれど、普段はこういう普通の日は1日1回です。普段はそうですね、講演活動をしたり、あとは飛行機やホテルの手配をしたり、大会の、あとはいろんな情報調整をしたり、あとは今うちの妻がいますけど、子供と遊んだりしています。ベビーカー。
Yeah, just ahead here. So we've spotted Yuki's wife and his kid.
奥さんの名前。
ユウコ。
Yuko. Okay.
Yuko and Ayumu.
And Ayumu.
Ayumu, yeah.
Ayumu. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hello. How are you?
Hello. Hi. 見てる？
Do you often run together, or are you your pace is too fast?
Yeah.
Too fast.
時々本当に走りますけど、ただやはり少しペースが違うので、はい、本当休憩です。
Does Yuki think he can run one day 206 or 205? And if so, what does he think he needs to do to get down to this level?
いや、多分今の練習の延長線上でしっかりとピークが大会にあれば十分5分6分まで行くと思って。
And which course does he think he will? Which race do you think is most likely for him to do that?
来年の大阪です。
Next year's Osaka.
Osaka. But the last 10k is quite hilly.
来年からコースが変わってフラットになりました。
I'm not sure if many people know that, at least outside of Japan. Because a few of my friends have entered Osaka next year and they're ready for the hills, so they're not going to be there. Nice. Okay, so the course is going to get faster.
で、来年から一番きつい坂以外の坂がなくなったので、すごくラスト点検がしやすかったと思います。
The only other thing I found with Osaka, to be I mean, it was a fantastic event, but there was a lot of hairpin turns where you had to come to a complete stop and do like a U-turn, and like 1 or 2 is not a big deal, but there was like 7 or 8, I think.
別にペースメーカーがいる時がほとんどなので、ペースメーカーいる場合にはヘアピンカーブがあってもそんなに大きな問題はないですね。
Maybe I need to stop being a complainer. Sounds like I need to just man up and take the course. Okay, Yuki, did you race in the EKIDEN yourself back in university? Did you how much experience do you have racing EKIDEN yourself?
小さな駅伝にも出ていましたし、あと箱根駅伝の学連選抜チームというチームで2回6区山下りをやりました。
Goes down 800 meters in elevation, so
How much?
800.
Oof. That's tough on the quads. Wow.
私はその6区 20.8 キロを大学生の時に59分27で走りました。
So he's on pace for a 60-minute half, but downhill.
じゃあこれがハーフだったら60分ぐらいのハーフです。
そうですね、そういうコースでも私は区間3位で、ね。
So I want to know more about Yuki's fueling in races. Does he have a preferred carbohydrate source? And what does he think about? How does he plan for fueling in races, including half marathon?
前の日の夜にカレーを食べるのがまず一番大事なルーティンですね。はい。で、朝はあまり食べずに前の日カレーをしっかり食べるので、朝はもうパン、バナナ、あとエナジーゼリー、あとコーヒーだけです。
So,
Okay, just a random curry.
日本のカレーですよね。
日本のカレー、ノットインドカレーですね。
So,
Okay, and in the race?
でレースの時は
はい。
レース中
レースの前、レース中、
はい、
レース中はスペシャルドリンクを置いていて、前半は蜂蜜、オレンジジュース、塩、あと レモン果汁、水とあとパウダーを混ぜたものを置いていて、で30キロ過ぎてから最近はコーラに、はい、そういうパウダーを入れたものをします。私いつもゴールしてからぶっ倒れることが多かったので、ぶっ倒れるときにコーラを飲むと回復していたので、じゃあレース中飲めば倒れないってことで最近倒れなくなりました。
Well, there you go. Pretty simple, isn't it?
Yes.
Sounds like the Cam Levins approach with lemonade. Well, it's sugar. As long as I enjoy it at the aid station, that's all that really matters. That's awesome. Okay, back to EKIDEN. When the event starts in 6 weeks, Yuki, who will you be supporting? Who are you following?
どっちのチームを応援してますか？これ、
応援は別として駒澤は間違いなく強いですね。そうですね、特に好みのチームはないですね。ただやはりレースで競った選手を応援するので、駅伝のチームよりもその選手を応援したりしますね。
ぜひスペシフィックワンです。
Okay.
はい、多分日曜日のアゲオハーフで競った選手は応援しますよ。
I want to know if Yuki's interested in maybe one day going to train in Kenya.
そうですね、なんていうか本格的な合宿をするというよりは、なんていうか見学というか1週間ぐらいどういうことをやっているのか見るショートの合宿はちょっとやってみたいなと思いますね。
Yeah, okay. Yuki, you're running too fast.
Yeah.
We're going 440.
Yeah.
444, okay, which way too fast for Yuki in his easy runs. I read actually years ago that he does his easy runs at about 5 minutes per kilometre, which is about 8-minute miles. And I honestly wasn't sure if I believed it, but it's true. Does do them basically at 5-minute Ks. Why he does them at this sort of speed? Is there any reason behind that? Has he learned some lessons there, or is it just something he's always done?
もうずっとこれぐらいのペースで、はい、昔からやっていたので、もうジョグは別にどんなペースでやってもいいと思っているので、大事なことはやはり週2回のポイント練習の方だと思っているので、あんまり意識しないです。
I agree with that. I really don't. I'm not really very sure if it matters what pace you run the easy days, as long as it's not too hard. That's the only mistake you can make. But I'm not even really sure if there's such thing as too easy. Because for Yuki, I mean, his marathon pace is like 3 minutes per K, at least his PB pace. So running 5 minutes, and that's like 450 per mile. So to run 8-minute miles or 5 minutes per K it's really, really slow for him. Like, really easy. We're asking Yuki about his racing in business suits. I think he might have had the world record or Japanese record or something for racing half marathon or marathon in a suit. Talk to us about that.
世界記録はあるんですよ、それ。
はい、ギネス世界記録よりも多分私の方が早いんですけれど、ただ非公認の大会なので、ギネス世界記録にはなっていないです。はい。
What was the time?
どういうタイムでした？
はい、私はスーツの時は1時間6分52秒ですかね。はい。
66
66? In a suit.
スーツ、yeah.
That's so funny.
今年は最近の着ぐるみを着て走って、はい、69分ぐらいでした。
今年は
69?
Yeah. 他にも忍者の格好をして走ったりとかもしましたし、いろんな格好をしてます。はい。
He likes to. He did.
I want to see you break 220 for marathon in a business suit. What do you think?
マラソンを
はい。
2時間20分以下、
はい。
スーツで
That will really humble me if you can do that.
できれば。
はい。はい、暑いレースは無理なので、寒いレースの時に、はい、スーツでいつかやってみたいですね。
It has to be cold.
Has to be cold. Yeah. If he runs under 220 in a business suit, I will just. He will be an even bigger hero than he already is somehow. That will be like huge news, I reckon. That's so funny.
いつかやるんでしたら、
はい。
That's my challenge to him. I would love to see him do it.
いつかやってくださいってチャレンジ。
はい、そうですね。いつかやりましょうか。はい。
なんで、
はい、でもハーフマラソンの時には こういう格好をした大学生に私はスーツで買ったりしますね。着ぐるみとか。
I'm sure he does. 66, wow.
There is plenty more good content coming up in the near future, so stay tuned. These videos are brought to you by 3 key sponsors of ours that are helping financially bring this content to you. The first one being Soar Running. Personally, my favorite running apparel brand based out of the UK that is growing incredibly quickly. When I'm out running these days, especially if I'm at a track in the US, in Europe, or in the UK, I'm almost certain to see the Soar logo at some stage, especially if the track's very, very busy. I'm a huge fan of their marathon speed shorts, their speed tights, and pretty much everything that they have available at the moment. I'm a huge fan of everything that they're doing. And they actually are the makers of our Sweat Elite running apparel. And you can now purchase the second edition of the Sweat Elite racing vest that you can see on the Soar website now. This video series is also brought to you by Garmin, one of the leading GPS watchmakers globally. I am almost certain that every single one of you watching this video is familiar with Garmin, and I'm sure that a very large percentage of you probably have a Garmin on right now. But I've been really enjoying using the Garmin Forerunner 965 that has pretty much every functionality that you can possibly imagine. You can use Apple Pay on here, you can sync your Spotify playlist and use your watch instead of your phone as you're running. It has a training readiness function, which is a very accurate way of understanding if you are ready for a hard workout, if you're not, and where you sit on that spectrum. It has a sleep tracker where you can monitor your sleep very carefully, a barometer, it has HRV, it has everything. There are so many more functions that I would need almost 10 minutes for an ad read to be able to explain what they all are and how they all work. But I strongly recommend the Garmin 965, and I hope that you'll check it out in the very near future. And finally, this video series is also brought to you by HVMN with their revolutionary product Ketone IQ that I've been taking pretty much every single day now for about the last year. No longer do you have to fast for several days to create ketones in the blood. You can now do that by taking a single shot of Ketone IQ, which will give you a very nice mental clarity effect, and that also improves overall health, endurance, and general energy. I find that if I take one of these first thing in the morning, I have a really, really nice rush of energy. It's a little bit different to taking caffeine or sugar. It's a little bit more calming, a little bit more of a stronger focus effect. And I find that in training sessions, I'm able to push a little bit longer, a little bit harder, and I really like the effect of Ketone IQ. I would strongly recommend checking out HVMN's Ketone IQ, and you can score a discount by using the code SWEATELITE at checkout.